back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed to me, please do, and follow me on IG at Alexis Christiana. So today's video is going to be about my birth plan and my birth story, and how it all didn't go as planned. How my natural birth didn't go as expected. Like most first-time mamas, or mamas in general, you have an idea of how you want your birth to go, right? We make these detailed birth plans that are literally just jokes, because God has planned and whatever He has said is what's going to happen. So you can plan as much as you want, but it just like any other plan, it goes out the window. So I just wanted to give a story and share my experience of what happened for my first birth with my son Zion. My expected due date was May 31st, and I was like so ready. I had his nursery set up in our room. Was just like so excited. Couldn't wait for him to get here, for him to arrive Earthside, right? The way yet. My last visit with my gynecologist, she let me know like, hey, there might be a possibility like we might have to induce you. And I was like, induce? What is that? I literally had not expected anything to go out of my plan. I thought I'm gonna deliver on my actual due date, or maybe early. That was my fear, was like that I was gonna go into labor early, you know. I was gonna be at home, my water was gonna break, like the whole scene that happens out of the movies. And that does not happen. Like that's not the true play out of how labor really actually goes. How they depict it in movies is a movie. It's made to be theatrical and crazy. So my doctor, she let me know like that's not how it could happen. She was like, more so than not, women are admitted to be induced. She was like, sometimes with your first baby you're induced, sometimes your first baby comes, you know, they can come quick, they can come, you know, before the due date. She's like, but no one really delivers on their due date. I think she said that it was about 5% of women who actually deliver on their actual due date, which is crazy. So with her letting me know that, she was like, but go home and try to do everything you can. This was when I was 40 weeks at this point. She's like, let's plan to have you induced at 41. And I was like, okay, I wanted to come naturally though, you know? So I went home and did my research. I drank, that's my son playing with his daddy. I drank red raspberry leaf tea. I did, you know, all of the exercises and activities that they tell you to do, minus the sex part, because 40 weeks pregnant, I wasn't trying to have sex. I didn't feel comfortable. I was just ready to get this, you know, little teeny human out of me. I was just over being pregnant and was like, okay, I want to meet my son. I did everything. Drank the tea, did the activities, exercise ball, squats, walking, lunges, like all the stuff that you could think of that you read online to do that's safe, I did. So by the time I went in to see her at 41 weeks, just again, she was like, okay, the induction is definitely happening. You're going to be induced. This is for sure happening. So she's like, we'll see you. I think it was like I went in on a Monday and I delivered on the 7th. I can't remember what day that was during the week. But anyway, so got my hospital bags ready. And honestly, being induced, I'll get to it later. The actual inducement part wasn't fun, but going there to be induced, checking in, not having to stress about like, oh my God, my water broke, and going in all frantic. It was really calm for me and my fiance to go in. We prayed before, we had time to talk before, plan everything about how we wanted it to go for us in the room, and just be on the same page mentally. So that part of being astray from my birth plan, having a supportive partner through it was really crucial and important. And we were just so calm going in. Even though I knew I was going into labor, I didn't feel like I was going into labor. My body was not telling it to go into labor. So why I was induced was because at 41 weeks, I was like a centimeter dilated. My body was not kicking into gear of like, hey, let's get this going. When you go into labor, your body produces oxytocin, which is the same chemical that happens when you're breastfeeding. It just tells your body to go into labor, like let's get this baby out. My body wasn't producing oxytocin, so they also had to ripen my cervix, because my cervix was not anywhere near ripeness for optimal delivery, which I was like, oh my God, like my body just wasn't ready. Zion just was like chilling in there and not trying to come out. So the first part of being induced was, for me, it's different for everybody, but for me, they gave me a pill to help soften my cervix. So I was admitted at 9 p.m. Overnight, they were like, okay, your cervix should get softer. We should get it flowing. The next morning, around like 8 a.m., they were like, okay, you're not anywhere near dilation still. Your cervix got softer, but you're still a centimeter. They're like, so we're going to give you Pitocin, which is the synthetic drug version of oxytocin. On my little birth plan here, I had that I wanted no drugs at all. I wanted natural techniques and no interference with any kind of medication. So yeah, I was like kind of upset that I had to have a not natural birth, I guess. I mean, natural to me is no drugs at all. No medical interference in that sense where you need to take a drug, a synthetic, anything to help your labor go along. So that really made me sad. I wanted to just have everything clean and nothing. Just wanted Zion to come out and I pushed, and this whole magical thing I created in my head that was just a fairy tale of what birth wasn't. It can be like that for some people, and that's amazing, but for most women, it's not like that. So that was hard for me to deal with at that moment, but I just was like, you know what, whatever, I'm here, this is my birth story, and this is what it is. So by that time, was going along, they came back around like 2, 3 in the afternoon, and they were like, you're too happy right now. Like, you're too happy, you're not anywhere near like discomfort that you should be. And I could hear women around like screaming, like, oh, like, you know, all the pains of labor, the sounds, everything you can imagine. I was hearing it, and it was freaking me out because I wasn't feeling anything. I was like just sitting there eating, watching movies, hanging out with my fiance. Like, they're like, you're doing too good right now, we're gonna break your water. So it was like 2:33 p.m. and they decided to break my water. And once they broke my water, oh my God, like my birth plan went like completely out the window. Like, it was intense. I went from being a centimeter dilated, a centimeter. You can think about a centimeter, okay? Like, picture like those little circles they have of a centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3, 4, 10, whatever. I'm from a centimeter to 6 centimeters in like an hour and a half. That was like the most intense level of pain I've ever felt, ever. I was like shaking, I was sweating. I remember telling my fiance, I was like, I think I'm gonna die. Like, I literally think I'm gonna die. He was like, you can do this. So my part of my birth plan too was, if I can show you right here, help for managing labor discomforts. Natural techniques such as bath or showers, massage. Please do not offer pain medicine. I will request if needed. If you can see that. Your girl was screaming for the epidural. I was like, babe, I need the epidural. I can't do this. To go from a centimeter to 6 centimeters, like in an hour, I was just not mentally prepared. My body didn't naturally go through the stages of labor like it's supposed to. I just skyrocketed because of the Pitocin I was administered, the breaking of my water. It was just crazy. So once I dilated like that, I kind of stayed at like 6, and then they're like, let's increase the Pitocin a bit more. So once they increased it, I was like, this is crazy. I couldn't do it. So at 6 is when I asked for that epidural, and I got it like at a cutoff where they're like, yeah, you were almost like too far along to where you would be feeling it. So I still felt labor. I still felt my contractions, but they just weren't as intense. It went from being at a 10 to being at like a 3. So it wasn't super bad, but it wasn't completely gone for me. Like I said, it's different for everybody. But whenever they administered the Pitocin to a higher level, at the same time with my contractions, they were so intense, I guess it caused me to throw up. And I didn't know this was something that happened naturally in childbirth. Women threw up. So I was throwing up and having contractions at the same time. And my contractions were close. Like, it was like contraction, throw up. Okay, contraction, throw up. Contraction, throw up. And my fiance looked so scared, like he couldn't help me, and I was like, just leave me alone, like just trying to like focus. And he was trying to talk to me and pet me, like we talked like words of affirmation. I was like, shut up, don't talk to me. Like, I just need to focus. I couldn't even think. So one of the nurses was like, you're doing great. It's natural to throw up. And I remember thinking, like, this is natural? I thought something was wrong. So I was okay, this is normal to throw up during my contractions. I was like, I could do this. So finally, I got to a level where my OB was like, we're ready to get you pushing. Let's do this. So the fear kind of kicked in a bit, but honestly, I just was so ready to get Zion into the world, bring him our side, and get this sensation I was feeling away. I just wanted to push. I knew it was going to be painful, but I wanted to push him out and just see him. I knew it would make everything worth it. So once I got ready to push, my fiance was on this side, a nurse was on this side holding my leg. My doctor was here, 2 other nurses. I literally went somewhere else because I didn't feel a single thing. I felt absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I know the epidural, it doesn't take everything away. Like, you still feel some kind of discomfort. You still feel like the pain of labor, but I just felt nothing. And I think it's because I mentally just like went somewhere else. I just like dug deep into myself and just pushed. And literally, I pushed Zion out in like under 10 minutes. It was crazy. I was like, how did I do that? So when people ask me like, how long were you in labor? I'm just like 10 minutes, because that's how long I felt like I actually labored him and actually pushed him. But from the time I was admitted to the hospital, 9 p.m., and when he was born, which was 9:14 a.m., basically I was in labor for 24 hours, because that's when they started me on the drug to soften my cervix. But when I went into active labor was when they actually broke my water around like 2-3 p.m. So from, we'll say 2 to 3 to delivering him at 9:14, I was in labor for about like 7 hours. So in my opinion, it went by really slow once I had the contractions, but pushing him was just like, I felt like it happened so fast. My fiance was like, yeah, it did. And my doctor was shocked how quickly I did, push Zion out, and how well I did. And then I had a minor perineal tear, but she said it wasn't bad at all. She's like, well, this is not even bad. They immediately stitched me up. I delivered the placenta really quickly. Whenever they gave me Zion, everything just felt like it didn't matter. Like, my birth plan that didn't go as planned didn't mean anything to me anymore, because my son was here. All that planning beforehand was fun to do while I was sitting around idle, pregnant, waiting for him. But in the actual moment of labor, my doctor just made sure she did everything she could to sounds of New York, right? To deliver my son safely. What I didn't know afterwards, she told me that if I had any more time where like she felt like I wasn't ready to push, like I wasn't dilated enough, she was gonna have to do an emergency C-section. And she didn't tell me in that moment because she didn't want to scare me, but she said everything worked out fine where she didn't have to do it, but she said she was mentally prepared to have to give me an emergency C-section, which scared me, because I definitely didn't want to have a C-section. I'm scared of surgery and just all that stuff. So, and I hadn't researched it because my birth plan was I'm having a natural birth, that I kind of just didn't educate myself enough on what could go wrong, and I just only educated myself on what I wanted to go right. So my advice to you mamas out there who are pregnant is educate yourself on everything. It's obviously ideal to have the way you want your birth plan to go, but be prepared in the situation that it can go a different way, because it's life and things don't always go as planned. But I just wanted to share quickly my birth story with you guys, and any new mamas out there, if you have any questions about labor and delivery, please comment below. I'll be happy to answer anything based on my personal opinions. And it'd be really fun to hear from you guys, your birth stories. If you want to comment below something funny that happened during your birth story, anything crazy that happened to you, share with me, and all the other mamas out there. But I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this little talk session right here, and until next time, guys, bye.